All right, Elena Scott Harris here. We are from Cuisineist.com and Cuisineist Travels. And those of us who know us, whenever we travel somewhere, we try to find really cool hidden gems. And we found one in Casper, Wyoming, and we found whiskey butter.
Whiskey butter.
And we met Will Mamea, how do you pronounce it?
Mamea, yeah.
Mamea, and his wife Viviana. This is a husband and wife team here.
Yes, it is.
And so you have quite a history. So you have Samoan background, correct?
Yeah. My
Okay.
dad was born and raised in Samoa and
Okay.
traveled from Samoa. He's the oldest of 12.
Right.
And traveled from Samoa to Hawaii to California. And that's how we got to the mainland.
Right. So, I mean, we'll get to all your stuff you've done, but as a young kid, with all these people, 12, right? Or more, probably
Yeah.
family, everything.
Oh, yeah,
So he liked cooking. When he cooked, he had to cook for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. When you had Samoan kids have kids. And we grow up, we have big families. So we had each one of my uncles and aunts had their own group of kids. My
Right.
mother was the second youngest of 5.
Wow.
So we had a huge family, and then we would have. I mean, I guess I started when I was a kid. Interested. My dad would smoke amazing ribs
There you go.
for everybody. We would have a family get together. A small one would be like 40 to 150 people.
That was a small get together.
Yeah.
So as you were growing up, I mean, as you got older, did you start off getting into the restaurant business with like a dishwasher or anything? We'll get to mixology stuff later.
Yeah.
How'd you get started in all that stuff?
So I started as in the kitchen,
There you
so as
go.
a dishwasher.
All right.
I was just smart enough to show up on time, just dumb enough to keep my corrections or thoughts to myself when chef was, I listened to the guy, but I was very blessed. I've always had some great mentors, and I was moved from a dishwasher to prep cook,
Right.
and I got my hands on a knife, and my chef at the time, Jacques, taught me a lot of knife skills, and
Right.
I was excited to learn every one of them, and then he moved me to line cook, and eventually I ended up taking over his line for him as his head line cook. But I love the kitchen. That's where my heart is, man. I've been cooking since I was 3 years old.
See that. Yeah, so we talked about your stint in California,
Yeah.
and it wasn't necessarily cooking; it was mixology.
Yeah.
Correct? All right.
Yeah.
How did that get all started?
Well, I had been in the bar scene for, I'd been in the kitchens. I had moved to the front of house in management from being a chef to being an AGM and a GM for a lot of very successful like nightlife kind of Mexican restaurants that turned into a nightclub. I did that for a long time.
Right.
And I worked a lot of the nightlife and running bars.
Okay.
And I took a break from that because my kids were at that age where I wanted to be there when they got home from school. And so I decided to go to a bakery, actually.
Really?
And the bakery was in California, and I worked for this French bistro and bakery, and I came in every morning at 4 a.m. and I left by 2 p.m. and I loved it until my old chef, that first mentor I told you about, he called me up and he said, "There's a bar that really needs somebody like you in LA." And that was a 3.5-hour drive from
Wow.
where I was at. I was like,
Okay. Wow.
I don't know. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"I'm telling you, I put your name in the hat and they want to meet you." And he was pretty high up in the company. And so they brought me out to Mixology 101, and I turned around their concept. And eventually I was lucky enough to work under Salvador Calabrese.
Nice.
He was he's a legidery mixologist.
Have you met him once before?
Yeah, and it was kind of, me and him did not get along at first.
Really?
He's a, forgive me, Sal, if you see this, but he was a pompous Italian man.
Yes.
But
we met him before. Yeah.
the first time he made a drink for me or in front of me, I realized, I need to shut up and listen to him like I listen to my chefs.
Mhm.
And I did so, and the rest is history, man. I worked Mixology 101 for many years, and then eventually ended up in California helping a owner open a whiskey bar speakeasy concept
Right.
and expand that. That's kind of where I got my
So, but we were talking earlier on our first visit here that you've opened several different restaurants, and that's not easy to do. I mean, we know that.
it could be a grind, that's for sure.
So then you decided that it's time that you've been looking for the right thing to find your own thing that you wanted to do. But you're in California, and we're in Casper, Wyoming. So how did all of this California thing happen?
Well, I had been with a brand. I helped that during COVID. I was with that whiskey bar and speakeasy concept, and I was blessed. I was probably one of the few people in this industry in California that worked every day through the entire
Right.
endeavor. And so I really cherish that family that I worked for. And I also learned something that I was like, maybe I don't want to, when I open my own, I don't want to be in California.
Right.
So that was my lesson. So I took, I helped them expand to Texas. And from there, we actually found another owner that he found us, actually, my wife and myself, and I helped him open several venues in Texas. And he asked me to open the Second Rodeo Brewing, Second Rodeo Brewery in Fort Worth. And so I helped him with that. And from there, somebody in town here in Casper apparently had been to that brewery, and he has a lot of weight in this town. So they got on the phone with me, asked me to come out to Casper, check it out, and I fell in love with Casper. I got tricked. I got brought here in the spring. I got brought here in the spring. I was taking golfing. I don't golf. I'm not good at it, at least, but nevertheless, my wife and I fell in love with this beautiful country, and then not only that, the people here. The people in Casper are the best people in the whole place. I
love the people here, even in Wyoming in general.
I love
the people here.
Absolutely really true. Everybody knows everybody. Sure, this is it's a small town with a long memory, but I definitely think that the people here are genuine and they care and they give local business owners a lot of support. And so we're like, this is the place we put it down.
It seems like. So how long have you been open now?
We just hit our year in August.
That's what I thought.
So just over a year and a month.
And you've been, just from word of mouth, you've been hearing around, we get our ear to the wind there, and you're like one of the hottest new spots here in Casper.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
We have, look, we love Casper. Our only hang up on Casper was a lack of variety in restaurants.
There you go.
And so we just decided, my wife and I decided we're going to be the change we want to see. And that's why we decided to open up shop here. I found some wonderful people to work with on the hotel side here.
Right.
We brought this old girl back up to her former glory. We're still working on her. And,
sure.
But yeah, she was going to get torn down, and the whole community was in an uproar, did not want it. In fact, the first day before, or I say 2 days before we open, I'm putting my liquor display together, and I hear a knock on those glass doors. Those doors had barely been put up.
Right.
And so I was like, I got to get doors up to have liquor in here. And I hear a knock, and I look out, and it's a woman, and she looks like she's in tears. And her husband's standing behind her, and they come, I go let them in, and they come rushing in and go right to a table, because all of the tables and chairs we actually refurbished. From most of them we found here and reupholstered them and put some work into it. But she came in, ran right to a table and pointed out, and it said, I believe Bill plus live in a heart.
Wow.
And apparently like 15 years before they had been in here, and like on their first or one of their first dates after being married. And so they had come back in, and I thought it was beautiful. It kind of goes to show there's a lot of people that just have a lot of history in this town, and they're not the first or last ones that I've seen that with, especially with this building.
Exactly.
So she's special to us too.
There you go. So now we're going to look at your menu. We've been over the menu. It changes all the time. You even have an OTR code. That's how often it changes. But what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So, some highlights with those ribs. You got to tell me about those ribs. And I read about those are the recipe. Okay, so explain it.
So my dad was a fantastic pitmaster. He was, like I said, we would do huge family events. And he never charged anybody a dime. That's why you can never make money doing it. But he would smoke spare ribs. And so we would break down the spare rib into a St. Louis cut. And we only use 3 ingredients: high quality meat, smoke, and soy sauce.
There you go.
He had a technique with soy sauce and sugar, and it was a low and slow on the ribs. The only thing I changed was I put them on baby back ribs to get a little more meat on them. And then I glaze them and make a poke sauce that it's basically like a whiskey infused teriyaki sauce.
They're very, very good, by the way. We got to have some.
Thank you. And I add a little spice and sugar to it, and we glaze the wings up in there and stack them up, and people love them.
So what's some of your most ordered or most liked dishes that you're discovering this year, besides those?
I never set out to be a steakhouse. We only carry one steak.
Well, but it's our top. Wyoming.
I felt like everywhere you go, you can get you can get any kind of cut, but there was no real love that I felt was being put into it. So I decided we're only going to do one steak. It's a 16-ounce whiskey wash butter basted ribeye. And so we bring in the ribeye logs and we butcher it here. We break off the chain and render that into tallow.
Okay.
And then the tallow we use to sear it when we're getting to the cast iron skillet. But after that, I break it into 16-ounce steaks and we wash it with whiskey. We dry age it 3 to 6 days.
Oh, man.
And then that hits it hot tallow in a cast iron skillet.
Tallow. Yes, exactly.
Every one of our ribeyes touches skillet and tallow. And then we flip it after we sear and get that Maillard reaction wonderful. We flip it, kill the heat, put butter, rosemary, thyme, and we just butter based. Get that nice nuttiness until it's a perfect medium rare.
Wow.
And we only do medium rare, and we have 2 great sides with it. But it's a $60 steak, and I never thought it would be our top seller, but it's our top selling dish, and it's inspired me. We now do 2 steaks. I rotate another steak special, but we'll never be the place that has 15 different cuts. I'd rather do. It's an old Japanese philosophy: practice something perfectly 1,000 times to master it. So each one of my chefs, I train them. They make hundreds of steaks the exact same way every time, and so we're pretty on point with it. There's a lot of love in it.
Sure. And we also had poke. And you're bringing in that Samoan,
that Polynesian fusion.
Poke was absolutely
well, there's some things on my menu that they're not there for anybody but me. I don't care if I never sell one of them. They're staying.
That's cooking for yourself.
Well, we had my wife's and my favorite appetizer is seared ahi. And we love it in a nice ponzu sauce. And you could get it at a few restaurants, even in town. But we notice everybody in town, you get like 4 slivers of half-ounce cuts of ahi. And me and my wife are fist fighting for the last one, So I decided we're not doing that. We're going to put a 6.5-ounce wild-caught sashimi grade ahi tuna. And we dice it up to order. We marinate it in the poke sauce. That's vibrant flavors. It's got some whiskey in it too. I gotta do it.
It's Wyoming again. You gotta have steak and whiskey.
Yeah, ginger, scallions, red pepper, all of the good stuff. But then we stack it so it's very delicately pieced together. Avocado, edamame, the tuna that's been marinated, and then cucumber slices and a little bit of sriracha. We serve it with crispy wontons. It's meant to be shared, but I'm actually having that for lunch today. So
there you go. So even he's doing it. So, and you have a secret menu. Told me about last time.
Yeah, well, when we were such a small team when we opened. I used to have to bartend and run back and cook. Right. So our solution, and I was trying to print menus with the rotating menu. I was printing menus every day, and that took me off the floor. And so I was like, I got to figure out something else. And I decided I'm going to do a QR code and just rotate it. And so that way I could train as I hire a kitchen crew and train my cooks how to make each dish. We're only doing these 3 today, and then these 3 today, and these 3. And so we rotate it, and it's just a QR code. Well, about a few months of that, and we finally had gone through the whole menu. And so I was able to put out the printed menus. But then, ironically enough, the first person I put it down was a regular. We come and say day 2. And I put down the printed menu, and they go, "Oh, man, you're not doing the rotating menu anymore?" And I'm like,
"Here we go.
All right. Looks like a secret menu was born."
The secret menu is born.
So now we have it printed on the permanent menu, a QR code. We also have it on our drink menu. So that way, if people want to hold the menu, they can hold the menu. But if they want something special or secret, now you know the secret's out. It's on the QR code.
Right. So we spoke earlier about your fantastic mixology background, and you brought a lot of that here to your own restaurant. And the last time I was here, I had a Black Manhattan.
Yes.
And so I was really interested in that because I've never seen that number one.
Yeah.
So explain the ingredients and what?
I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't say that one was inspired by Sal. Because Italians, they love Amaros. His favorite one was not Averna, ironically enough. That's why I used it. It's like a little side jab. But no, Amaro is something Italians use to start the digestion process.
Sure, right.
It's not only a great palate cleanser, but the anise and the bark and just the depth of the spirit itself.
Really,
Averna's got a good spice to it. We use Carpano Antica formula sweet vermouth, the best vermouth in the world. And it's a very old recipe as well, but it's delicious and perfectly made. And the sweetness really balances the spice and earthiness of the Averna Amaro. and then we use Maker's Mark bourbon.
There you go.
I think the Maker's makes the best Manhattans because it's one of the smoothest bourbons you can get.
Yeah, they do. I also noticed, obviously, you have your classics. You got the Sazerac. You got Negronis in there. You have different people come for. We can also just mixologist training. Get in there. Okay, what do you feel like? Right.
Yeah.
That's where the chef and mixology comes together. And so, one thing I always like to ask is that somebody comes in or wants to come here, and what would you like, they have an experience here, what would you like them to take away when they leave? What would you like them to experience? How do you like them to feel after they were here?
I feel like something that's getting forgotten in this industry is the restaurant. It's not about the restaurant and its merit. It's about the people you sat in it with and the conversations you had. It's about the company. So there's a reason in my dining room we'll never have a TV in it. I have pictures all over the walls there because those are all icebreakers. There's funny ones. There's even little hidden ones with scripture. There's all kinds of messages. Sometimes my wife and I put them upside down.
There you go.
And we're trying to get to the point of the rule of thumb where if you can fit a thumb between two pictures, let's get another postage stamp side one. But it's an homage to restaurants I've worked before. I learned that lesson from a great chef that I worked under. Is that if you have to rely solely on our food to make you have a good experience, then you're sitting at a table with the wrong person.
I love that. There you go. I mean, that can't have ended it any better than that. And you're incredible. I love whiskey butter. I love finding little hidden gems. And we found one here for sure. We've been here twice already. We've only been here a week. So that just shows it.
Thank you so much, Scott. We love you. We appreciate everything. You guys. This is our little nod to Casper and our. I hope everybody comes and tries us out, and gives us a chance. And I appreciate you guys for coming in and trying us out.
No problem. And we're going to hang out a little bit longer now. So thank you very much, Gold.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Until next time. Lance Harris from Cuisineist Travels, Cuisineist.com. You can also find us on Instagram at The Cuisineist, also on TikTok at The Cuisineist. We did stuff for TikTok here as well. Also, Cuisineist Travels on YouTube. And of course, the podcast, you just see it here, Cuisineist Travels Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. That's a big breath. So, again, until next time, we'll see you really soon. Cheers from Casper.
Cheers.